lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name's Ryan, and today I'm going to be going through a really dope Spider-Man annual with art by none other than Frank Miller. But before I get into that, I just want to remind everybody, if you are not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you throw your comments down below. Make sure you like the videos. All that stuff helps, kind of boost the algorithm for us here at Comic Lounge. And we got a bunch of dope content already up, some playlists. We got artist editions that we go through, interviews with big name creators, indie creators. We go through stuff from the big publishers, and we do stuff with the self-published crew as well. So make sure you check all that stuff out. Hit that subscribe button. And now let's get into this amazing Spider-Man annual number 14. Like I said, Frank Miller on art, Denny O'Neil on the writing, and this is a dope fucking comic book. Spidey, Doctor Strange versus Doctor Doom, and the Dread Dormammu. Like the cover says, enough said. So I can't exactly remember how I discovered this. I'm going to say it was probably cartoonist kayfabe, but I wanted to get my own thoughts on here because I just absolutely loved this book. It was such a fun read. It talks, right here kind of setting it up. Something called Ben Sinister is about to take place, and this is, translation courtesy of Doctor Strange. This comes from the Book of the Vishanti, and I really dig this. How we have Spider-Man that looks like a spider, and then Doctor Strange right here. Art is phenomenal. We got Tom Palmer on inks. Crazy the amount of talent that went into putting this book together. And with each big chapter break, we have this where it looks like we're reading straight from the Book of the Vishanti, and we open up straight with Latveria. We see Doctor Doom is doing Doctor Doom things. He's trying to use this device to summon somebody. And, the interface between magic and science has been breached, as this guy says. Dooms comes in, he's like, what are you doing, dude? You dare contemplate food while doing the bidding of Doctor Doom? And this guy, this little dude, is apologizing to him. His name's Dilby. He kind of looks like Doctor Doom. I mean, like Doctor Octopus a little bit with this face. Which, to be honest with you, at first I kind of almost thought for a second that maybe he was, when I at quick glance. Doctor Doom's trying to incite this thing, the Ben Sinister. We never really find out, spoiler, we never really find out going through this issue what that is, except I kind of take it as demons are going to come across from a dark realm and overtake Earth. Is kind of how I took it. And, Doctor Doom is now going to send Dilby to the dimension of the Dread Dormammu, and he's like, I almost envy you. I would gladly permit you to take my place. So he sends him to the dark dimension, and I just fucking dig the shit out of the way Miller does this. The coloring, these red against yellow. I mean, I'm telling you, I love going through these old comics, especially when they're on newsprint. And then you get this stark, it would be white if it was, the pages weren't as brown, but, we see him wake up in this realm and all sorts of crazy shit coming down, this weird fucking jaw that looks like mechanical but like a dinosaur. Everything's coming at him. He's running. He doesn't know how to get out. He gets picked up by this gargoyle type thing and taken straight to Dormammu. And then we get back to Latveria, and Doom's watching these videos about Hitler, which is kind of crazy. He translates what Hitler's saying. He's like, those who are meant to rule shall rule. I agree. Of course you would, Doctor, as would I. And never really seen, I know Doctor Doom's considered a dictator, but I've never really compared him to somebody like Hitler. So I thought that was kind of interesting that he's somewhat influenced by him. And then we see him communicating with Dormammu, and we see Dilby has gotten powers from Dormammu, has used it to conjure up this weird mechanical, not really a suit, but a robot almost. And you can see the two of them saying, he doesn't know if he's going to survive. I don't think he realizes that. Again, talking about implementing Ben Sinister. And it's just this continuous mystery behind it. And then we go to Greenwich, the village of the Greenwich, as it's said in this book. And we see Doctor Strange in chains. He can feel some sort of disturbance because of the storm. He senses the danger and opens up this cabinet, and what happens? the freaking robot that Dilby created has come through and attacks. And I just love this. I noticed, this is a lot of what I love about Frank Miller. He does these like long panels, especially like when fighting's taking place. I love the way he lays out his stories. And Doctor Strange can't even, he can't defeat him. He ends up going into it's too much for flesh and blood to withstand. That part of me must fall, but my astral body can search for solutions. So we see him go, and now he's going to look for help that way. But then all these monstrosities, ethereal monstrosities, as he says, have clustered on the edge of his mystic defense barrier. He can't do anything. They overtake him. He sends out a psychic flare, and he sends it around New York. And he sends it to the Flatiron Building. Nobody's there. Sends it to an Upper East Side brownstone of Matthew Murdock, Daredevil. Not there. Baxter Building for the Fantastic Four. They're not there. Then it goes to Empire State University, and we are left with none other than Peter Parker himself. So we're already 14 pages into this Spider-Man annual, and we haven't even seen him yet. And so Doctor Strange asks for help. I love this panel right here, too, the way he does the costume over his face, kind of like a silhouette. And, Parker's he's at school, he's helping teach the students, and he has to find a way to make a break for it. Luckily, this kid makes a mistake, and smoke is coming out from this chemical reaction. So he runs out, has to ditch this girl, Debbie, who wants to hang out with him. And he's like, I gotta go. And then we get this really dope, again, panel break. We get the Spider-Man chapter. I fucking love the angle that Miller did with this. It's not something I can pinpoint that I see that frequently. And I love that his Spidey, the eyes are very reminiscent of like the way Ditko would do. And, I've been seeing a lot lately online with some of the artists that are not necessarily from this generation, talking about like being more stylistic, not necessarily adhering to anatomy or worrying about that. And I think that that's super evident here, because like this pose right here, right? Like Frank Miller's not worrying about it. He's like making a cool shot, and every single angle of Spider-Man, every time we see him, he's in a different movement. And I love that the gargoyles are over here. They come to life. Frank Miller to me draws like one of the best New York cities. He just he captures that New York energy. So Spidey's going after him. Again, I love the long panels. I love how he does it. Magenta over here. I don't know how many times I've said that on the channel, but I love seeing that in comic books. You don't see that color used as much anymore. And Spidey figures out a way to destroy them, hits the gargoyles together. As he's gonna make his way out of there, some lady calls, and she just does this long diatribe of talking about how noisy he is. He just shoots a webbing on her mouth to shut her up. Between her and the gargoyles, I'll take the gargoyles any day. Now to deal with the doc. His pad looks quiet, so he gets there, and then these same like weird ethereal creatures that had taken over Doctor Strange have now grabbed Spidey, but he makes his escape and goes straight to the roof, and he's going to make his way inside Doctor Strange's brownstone. And then we see he comes up to Wong. Wong's been taken out, and he's not hurt. He doesn't need to go to the hospital. It's just pride that has been kind of taken out. And then he's like, there's 4 letters, CBGB, and all he can think of is this club that Debbie, that girl, had invited him to. And he's like, that's an unlikely spot to hide a kidnap victim, but it's the only clue he has. I would have loved to have seen like a little run of Spider-Man by Frank Miller. My gosh. Getting this magenta. I love, the way that, this is before McFarlane, so we're not getting the spaghetti webbing yet. But the eyes, this would jump, and the way this panel to me like really stood out. The way Spidey's like flinging himself with his webbing away. Really dope. And I love that it's all in silhouette. And we finally see Dilby with Doctor Strange having him trapped. We get back to this club. And, this chick sees Peter, starts hitting on him, and then Debbie comes in the mix and tries to kind of brush that other girl off and chases Debbie out. And who does Debbie run into? None other than this dude Dilby. And then we see, like, everybody's coming from that club, and they're all chanting, Ben Sinister, Ben Sinister. Peter takes off. He's just, like, wondering, like, what's up with this rock band fronting attack of zombies? And he's, like, realizes, like, if I was down there, I probably would be joining in. Just running through Manhattan. continuing to go, and then finally Spidey comes up over by the Latvian embassy, and we see Doctor Strange tied to this gem, and now we see everybody just like almost chanting, performing some sort of weird ritual, and then we're gonna get Doctor Strange, gonna take care of business, but first Spidey takes care of this like robot, sees him fighting back and forth, and then we get the destruction of this gem, and this really stood out to me too. Again, the magentas, the pinks, just the panel structure, the way he switches it up, phenomenal. But this one right here, I love the way they show the gemstone breaking apart, and now Doctor Strange has finally, he talks about how during his captivity he was able to devise spells which would render him powerless, and now he's able to take out Dilby. And everything, whatever was possessing them has gone. Doctor Strange gives his thanks to Spidey, and they go on their way. And he's, again, like I said, like we don't get any kind of resolution as to what Ben Sinister is, but he asks it. He gets so pissed. He's like, "What do you mean, dude? I've been rode a bucking robot, I chased you all over town, and you're not going to answer my question?" And he just shatters this tree. And he's pissed. And then we flash back to where we started, back to Latveria. A package has come, and it's from Dormammu. And what is it? Dilby encased in this stone. And we get Doom standing over this tower at his castle, silhouette, lightning behind him. Experiment is finished, but I am not. I have plans. And that's it. That's how it ends. Fucking super dope comic. I mean, I don't think I need to say much more than that. I think it was easily one of my favorite Spider-Man comic books I've read. Hands down, one of the best illustrated Spidey comics I've read. It makes me want more. It makes me wish I could get some more from this. That this maybe was a two-parter that like took over in the Doctor Strange annual. But really dope cover, great story, great art. Go pick it up if you can. Danny O'Neill, Frank Miller. While you're at it, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, I'm out.